بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Today is Monday and inshallah we'll continue our halaqah on the fiqh of tahara, the fiqh of purification from Umdat al-Ahkam للإمام المقدسي رحمه الله تعالى. يقول الإمام المقدسي رحمه الله تعالى: وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا توضأ أحدكم فليجعل في أنفه ماء ثم لينتثر ومن استجمر فليوتر وإذا استيقظ أحدكم من نومه فليغسل يديه قبل أن يدخلهما في الإناء ثلاثا فإن أحدكم لا يدري أين باتت يده. وفي لفظ لمسلم: فليستنشق بمنخريه من الماء. وفي لفظ: ومن توضأ فليستنشق. This hadith is slightly a long hadith and we'll cover it half today, and inshallah we'll cover the remaining half the next week inshallah. In this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is talking about three issues. The first is how to clean your nose during wudu. The second is something that is called dry cleaning after you use the restroom. And the third is when you wake up after sleeping that you should wash your hands. So today we'll cover the first two issues. The first thing the Prophet ﷺ said: إِذَا تَوَضَّأَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَجْعَلْ فِي أَنْفِهِ مَاءً ثُمَّ لْيَنْتَثِرْ. The first body part that you have to clean when you start your wudu is? That is a sunnah. The first obligatory thing is your face. Washing your hands before wudu or before washing your face is a sunnah. The first obligatory wajib body part for you to wash is your face. And from your face is your mouth and your nose. And the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith mentions, whenever a person starts his wudu, he should clean his nose. He should put water in his nose and then exhale it. Now, cleaning your nose is of two parts. The first is inhaling or taking up the water, and the second is exhaling and discharging the water. Right? Whenever you clean your nose, you put in the water and then you take it out. The first part is an obligation for you to put in water in, and the second part, which is to clean it out, is a sunnah for you to do. And this hadith proves that. In the narration, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that whoever does wudu, let him take water up to his nose. But he didn't mention to take it out. Another hadith he mentioned to take it to take it up your nose and also to clean it out. So because there's one hadith or few hadith the Prophet ﷺ did not mention to take it out, the scholars have mentioned that this is a sunnah for you. It's better for you to do that. It's a sunnah for you to do that. But to take it in is the minimum that you should do. Was that clear? Taking up water in your nose is also of two levels. There's a minimum obligatory level and there is a preferred way to clean your nose or to take up the water. The minimum is that you get the inside of your nostrils wet. So if a person were to wet his fingers and to put them up his nostrils, up his nose, that would be enough because it would make the inside of his nose wet. That is the minimum. The preferred way is to inhale the water till the uppest part or the highest part of your nose and then blow it out and then discharge it. Literally to kind of breathe in the water or to inhale the water when it gets to the highest point of your nose and then to exhale or to discharge and clean it out. Was that clear? The minimum is that you get your insides of your nostrils wet, and this helps people who might be sick, might not be able to clean their nose properly. They might have some allergies, some sensitivity, some medical condition, and for them the minimum they have to do is get their fingers wet. Either them or someone else can also help them and put them in their nose, and that would be enough. And the preferred method is to actually breathe in the water or to inhale the water until it gets to the highest point of your nose and then to blow it out. Was that clear? The issue of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran when He said, whenever you get up for prayer, you should wash your face. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not mention cleaning the nose and the mouth. And hence some scholars have mentioned that cleaning the nose and the mouth in general is a sunnah. But the stronger opinion is that it is wajib for you to clean your nose and mouth because there is not even one instance where the Prophet ﷺ did not clean or skipped cleaning his nose or mouth. If it was halal, if it was a sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ would have skipped it at least once. For example, the sunnah in cleaning your arms or your face is to clean it 3 times. The minimum obligation is once. The minimum is that you clean your arms once, you clean your face once, your feet once. The preferred thing is to clean it 2 or 3 times. To prove this is a sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ did do wudu by cleaning his arms once, by cleaning his face once, by cleaning his face twice, and also he did it 3 times. To prove that they are all halal and permissible ways for you to clean your body parts. But when it comes to cleaning the mouth and the nose, the Prophet ﷺ never skipped it. He never skipped cleaning the mouth and the nose. Hence, this proves that this is part of cleaning the face that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in the Quran. Was that clear? Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talks about dry cleaning. When one relieves himself in the restroom and he wants to clean themselves, there are 2 ways. There is a preferred method, the recommended method, which is to use water. To use water to clean your front or your back after you have relieved yourself in the restroom. That is the preferred method, because there's nothing stronger than water when you want to clean yourself. Was that clear? There's another method which is called dry cleaning, which is using something dry to clean yourself. And this is not only allowed only when water is not available or a person cannot use water. This is allowed even if you have water. Even if water is present and you can use water, you're still allowed to use the method of dry cleaning. Meaning it's not like tayammum. Tayammum, you're only allowed to do tayammum when you either don't have water or you cannot use water. Maybe you're sick, you cannot use water. That's when you refer or defer to tayammum. But in dry cleaning, you're allowed to do dry cleaning even if you have water. Even if you have a bottle of water or you're able to clean with water, you're still allowed to do dry cleaning. But with certain conditions. The first condition is that it has to be done with something pure. You cannot use impurity to clean yourself. So for example, if someone used a paper towel to clean themselves, or they clean themselves, they cannot reuse that, because that has become impure, has become najis. You cannot use something najis to clean yourself. Or for example, using the feces of animals to clean yourself. Sometimes the feces become really hard and they could be used to cleaning yourself, but it is not allowed because they could be impure. Are feces of animals pure or impure? Impure? All of them? It depends on?
If you eat vegetables.
Not vegetables. If you can eat the animal, if it's halal for you to eat the animal, like camels or goats and sheep, then the feces and everything it exerts is considered pure. The urine, their feces are all considered pure. But if the animal is not allowed for you to eat, like a lion or a donkey or a dog or a pig, these things are not allowed to eat. Therefore, their feces are considered to be impure. Was that clear? So feces, if they're impure, you're not allowed to use them. If they're pure, you're also not allowed to eat them. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ in hadith mentioned that do not use bones and feces to clean yourself, because the bones are the food of the jinn and the feces are the food of the animals of the jinn. And Allah, the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that we don't want to spoil it for them. This is their nutrition, this is what they consume, so we don't want to spoil it for them. So besides the impurity of it, also feces that are pure, we're not allowed to use them because they are the food of the animals of the jinn. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned hadith that bones are the food or the nutrition of the jinn, and that their feces and the feces of our animals are the food of their animals. Was that clear? So that is the first thing, that it has to be something pure. For example, you can use paper towels, you can use toilet paper, you can use a piece of cloth, anything that is considered usually pure. The second is that it's something that can clean. The whole purpose of us using all these things is that we're able to remove any remainings of whatever we relieved with or whatever we exerted, is to clean that part and to remove any reminiscence of that or any remainings of that. That is the whole purpose. But if the thing that you're using is not fulfilling that purpose, then there's no use of using it. For example, if a person were to use a piece of plastic, cling film for example, or maybe he cuts out a piece of a shopping bag, the ones you get at the supermarket, those things don't clean. Those things will make it even messier for you. Those things will not remove the thing. Usually you need something drier, something more, something that absorbs the impurity, right? So it has to be something that usually cleans. If it doesn't clean, then it doesn't fulfill the objective or the purpose of cleaning. Was that clear? The third thing is that it should not be something dignified. For example, a person wants to use a $100 bill to clean themselves. You're like, Khaf Allah, this is haram. Even though you might be a multi-millionaire, but you're wasting money this way. You cannot use something dignified. Money in Islam is something dignified, has value, it has its karama. It could be used for a better purpose. Or a person takes a page out of an Islamic book and wants to use that. We say, no, this is something valuable, this is something worthy, this is something dignified. You cannot use that. It has to be something that people usually don't consider to be valuable. The fourth is that whatever you relieved should not exceed the point of its discharge. So if, for example, if a person urinated and a few drops of urine came on his thigh, he's not allowed to use dry cleaning on his thigh. He's only allowed to use dry cleaning on the point of discharge, whether it be from the front or the back. If it exceeds that, then you have to use water. You have to use water to clean it and to purify. Was that clear? The third thing is that it has to be done minimum 3 times. Minimum 3 times. And when do you stop? You stop if it's completely being cleaned. So after 3 wipes or 3 times, it could either be 3 separate things, so for example, 3 separate paper towels, or maybe a person has a big paper towel that he can use different parts and different sides of it. That would also be okay. So either 3 different pieces of paper towel, for example, or 3 pieces of cloth, or 1 big piece of cloth, or 1 big piece of paper towel that he doesn't, reuse the same side or reuse the same part. I mean, it's big enough for him to use different sides of it. The minimum he has to do 3 times. After 3 times he checks, is there anything remaining? Do I have to clean more? If he has to, then he adds 2 more, meaning he has to always keep it in an odd number. 3, if not then 5, if not then 7. When does he stop? He stops when the only thing that can clean the remaining is water. Meaning he's done everything to clean. No matter how much he wipes more, it will not clean more. But there might be a little bit of remaining there. And that is okay. This is something that is overlooked in our religion. And a person can go on and pray. And that remaining can only be cleaned with water. Then that is enough for him to stop over there. Was that clear? Meaning he cleans until the cleaning cannot clean anymore. Meaning no more wipes can clean anymore. Meaning even if there's a little bit of remaining, that can only be cleaned with water. Meaning wipes cannot clean them anymore. That's when he stops, and he doesn't have to use water after that. He does it 3 times, then he checks. He still needs to clean more. He adds 2 more. He still needs to clean more. He adds 2 more. 7. He still needs to clean more. He adds 2 more, and he feels that that's enough. Then that's where he stops. So this is the condition or the method of how to use dry cleaning. That is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed for us to do. And this is something that can be very useful for us while we live in America, especially when we're traveling or we're out and about and we are using a restroom and we don't have water with us, or we forget to bring a water bottle with us, that we have this option of using toilet paper to clean ourselves with the conditions that I just mentioned. So sometimes it can be something useful for us, and many Muslims think that the only way to clean yourself is only with water, and we cannot use toilet paper or we cannot use anything else. But this is something that Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have allowed for us to do. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our appearances, to purify our hearts just the way He has purified our appearances. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with knowledge that is beneficial. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us to implement what we learn. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reunite us in the gardens of Jannah with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family members and his companions, just the way He gathered us in this beautiful masjid. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.